It always comes up so suddenly. Welcome, people of the internets. Get clicked in here. Yeah, I wasn't going to come on tonight, but I at the last moment got a burst of energy and figured I'd come on and maybe do a shorter show. Tonight I was out doing a lot of running around today. Remarkably, it was like nice weather, at least the first half of the day. Like sunny and like warm. I was like, where am I? It's like sunny. It wasn't like apocalyptic outside and cold. And so I went outside and tried to do some yard work. Here the deer have just destroyed basically every bush and shrub I have. So I started to replant some things and putting up a fence. You have no idea. When I was posted a photo on my Instagram or on my stories like last week, like a herd of like 20 deer, literally 20 or more, they just wander through the neighborhoods and eat everything in sight. So every bush and things you wouldn't think they eat, like shrubs, like piney, they just eat it all. So they kill everything because they just eat all the leaves off everything and they die. So over the past couple of years, they just destroyed everything. So I was going to put up a deer fence mesh around the plants. I got some stakes up and going to replant some things. So while it was nice, I was doing some of that today. Then I decided to take a ride over to the ocean, maybe watch the eclipse from there. Figure there was, some people like waiting around there, but it was kind of like anticlimactic because just as things started to come to the time, clouds at that point started to roll in, so it was like mostly obscured. Although I had my 69-cent, I don't know what I do. Oh, they're out in the car. I had my 69-cent, eclipse glasses on that probably were searing my retinas anyway. How can you trust anything that costs like that cheap? But I saw it like through the clouds in the distance. You saw the sun, and it looks like it's black and white when you're looking through those glasses. You just saw like the black moon a little bit, but it didn't get dark. It was like 80 or 90% covered here in New Jersey, but it really didn't get dark. It started to get cloudy. It got cold. Temperature went way down, but it was all right. So went out and did that today, and that was the highlight of my day, going over to doing the eclipse works. I don't know. I was tired. I wasn't going to come on tonight, but then I ate dinner. I got a little bit of a burst of energy, and I had a bunch of questions from the other day, so I figured I'll do a few of the questions I had. So here I is. Alrighty. So what we'll do is, I know I loaded these up the other day. There was a couple like VIP questions in here. I don't remember what the others were, so I'm going to go through these. And thanks for everybody for the positive feedback so far. And as I noted, my name is Michael. I am a women's photographer here in New Jersey. I've been doing this for over 15 years, taking boudoir photos of women. And over the past 5 or 6 years, I've had people coming in and doing a lot of work for their OnlyFans account. So I've learned a lot from working with these people and helped them with their accounts. So just turned into, never planned it, but it kind of turned into a thing where I learned a whole lot about this, not just even working with people are doing on the photography side, but on the marketing side and so forth. So it's been a fun thing to do and get involved in. And so we're doing a little show to answer some questions because people always seem to have questions. So if you have questions, if you're just getting started or something, it's just one person's advice, but hey, or one person's opinion rather, but hey, I'm happy to help out. And of course, do your own research and work to find out what's going to work best for you. But you can always leave your question in the comments down below. Or I've had some people just actually on my OnlyFans account send me a message from their account, which is fine as well. The link to my account is down in the bottom. You can certainly reach me on there if you have a specific question. People ask me questions about their photo styles and stuff like that. It's fine. Or ask me if their header looks good, and headers are important, so I have no problem. Try to get in there at least every other day or so and answer some questions, so it's fine. That's what I do, answer questions. All right, so we're going to go on to, let's see, Our first question of the evening, and of course I'm all tangled up in my cords. Think about, I'm again with allergies in my voice, thinking about launching a VIP section on my OnlyFans because that's what two of my friends did. Any point in making a VIP? Yeah, and this again is just one person's opinion, but most of the time it's, there's a couple of ways that people do this. Usually it's not necessary to do. It's just, more of a complication. But the idea, of doing this and what you said exactly goes, I saw my friends do it, or I say other people do it, so then they feel they need to do it, right? So you have no idea why people just go and do this because they see others doing it. That's not really a great reason. Who knows if those people know what they're doing? Who knows if they're not crazy or whatever? So just because you see others doing something like this is not really why. There needs to be intent. When you're creating your page, everything you do needs to have a purpose and a goal to it. So doing it just to do it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, there's a couple ways of people doing this. Now, I know further down the line, I remember putting one other question in here that was VIP. So it's probably going to be a little bit of duplication, but I don't think it's necessary on small accounts. I think it really is. What it means, and I'm probably answering two questions here at once. If you're just making a separate mailing list or adding people to another group to send them messages, if you're just making a collection of people who tipped you or do something like that and you want to send them but sometimes people want to make a separate account and charge. And what I always say, it's hard enough to get people to the dinner table. It's, as it's difficult to get people to come in and get them to join your page. So then why again are you offering them a meal? Maybe you're giving them their salad and telling them all about what's going to happen. And but if you want dinner, you got to go out to the garage. I got to get up and I got to go somewhere else now. Yeah. It's just one more page you have to sign up for. So you're going to have huge drop off. It's hard enough getting people from one place to another, but then you're telling them to go to another place. Why? So I don't think, again, if there are certain circumstances, unless you have huge followings and you're really created some kind of curated reason why you have to send people from part A to part B or to another VIP page, it's usually just not worth it, because you're going to lose, again, a huge fraction. What is it there that you can't do on your regular page that you could have to do on a VIP page? Well, I'm going to have like free chat. Just worry about your main page. I think if you get up into thousands and thousands of people there and you really have great purchase of your PPVs and you're really like blowing up and you want to take a subset of those dedicated people that you have and maybe try to level that up and get more from them, I can see that in some circumstances creating some special content, or that you can, does it worth your energy? But in general, to do it just to do it doesn't make a lot of sense. You have like 200 people or so on your, why would you go ahead and, if you want to make some special account, you just sell it as a PPV on your regular page. It's really not necessary to keep breaking things down. I don't think you don't have to be so divisive. You've got that group of followers. You don't have to keep splitting them up. And so generally my answer is no, as I've said a couple times here, unless you have lots and lots and in an extraordinary circumstance. It sounds like, yeah, you're making them, but guys, they don't care. It doesn't work in the way that I think a lot of people think. I think it was probably a unique idea several years ago, and people were like, ooh, I'm going to get something special. Now like you said, it's all people do it, but just why? Some people will create a second account and charge for that account. Again, so why have a first account? Then the first account really just basically becomes an Instagram account, because you're just putting things on there that are anything that you would be posting on your Instagram account, right? So you're essentially running a second Instagram account, and then you're going to make another one to charge people. So again, I never saw the real value in doing that. You know, with the OnlyFans, things are just trending more and more to free anyway. That's just what's happening. You know, so really, unless again you know what you're doing in marketing and have a very limited sort of tailored content on your free page, which really is like a funnel that is going to send people to that paid page. But if you're just posting random stuff on there all the time, there's really no point, and there's not going to be a lot of people going to that second paid page. It's better to keep that energy just on your free page. If you have content that is just more, you know, explicit or whatever you're doing, just sell it as PPVs on your regular page. There's no need to start splitting people off. I think in only a few hundred subscribers or so, it's usually in most cases like that, it's not worth it, you know. And people tend to give up on the second page. People have enough trouble keeping up with one, let alone multiple pages, unless you have teams of people running your account if you're that busy. But usually, no, I would say just keep it simple. Just because your friends do it doesn't mean you have to do it. In the small case of accounts, it's really not worth the time. It's not worth the extra effort. Just grow your free account, get a couple thousand followers, keep pushing, and it's easier to make money through your PPVs. But just one person's opinion with a horrible voice today. Hey, Mike. Hi. I ever work with somebody and you know they probably aren't going to find... I remember seeing this question. Ever work with somebody and and you know they probably aren't going to find easy success, just curious. I know this is a polite way of what you're trying to say. And yeah. The truth of the matter is that on OnlyFans, it's very Darwinian. It's brutally Darwinian, and you know, people are hiring me that, you know, to do photos for them. That's my job. We'll go in and do the best, and I love doing that work, creating. And I'm not there to judge. Somebody asks me a question, I will happily answer the question. But yeah, and I have worked, believe it or not, with people. I know I don't ask how old people are when they come in, but probably in their early 20s and probably up to 60. And the odds of that account are probably really, really, really small. But maybe people just are having fun, and then that's fine. You know, if they wanted to go do something like this and they're having a good time doing it, who am I to stop them? Are people going to have, probably in that case, a lot of financials? I don't know. Probably it's difficult, because I think if you take the pool of your, you know, Instagram users, and you are giving them a couple of options to pick from, it's very Darwinian. Again, brutal who those guys are going to vote for with their certificates of approval, meaning money. I think that if you are 23 years old, you go to a gym twice a week, and you have breast implants and are cute, your life is much, much, much easier than if you are a 47-year-old person who has had a couple of kids, who has just sat on a couch your whole life, meaning you have like no muscle tone or anything like that. And then take those two people and ask a 24-year-old, 25-year-old guy really which one they're going to be supporting. You know, and this is just one of these areas where what you're supposed to say is not actually probably really what you should say. You know, just let people find out on their own. But yeah, there are people who I've seen come through, and I think some of it is really driven by, you know, they think it's an easy way to make money, or some people need money to pay some bills, and they don't know what else to turn to, and they think, oh yeah, I've heard stories, you know, OnlyFans, I'm gonna, you know, start an OnlyFans and I'll wind up making a lot of money. And I think those dreams, you know, come to a real quick end. You know, I don't want to say anything cruel about people, but yeah, it's not for, I think certain groups and ages have a much easier time than others. I don't want to say that's the case for every single person, but it gets much more difficult for certain people than others, and that's just evident in feedback and what I've seen. But it's not my job to you know, tell people what to, and if they're happy, then hey. Onward. I'm considering hiring a professional photographer to elevate my OnlyFans account, OnlyFans content. What should I look for in a photographer to make sure they're the right fit for my style? THX, thanks. Well, as we talk about a lot, I would not, if your account is new and small and you're not getting a return on what you're producing or making money, I wouldn't go spending tons and tons of money on a professional photographer, because you're just not going to get a return on that investment, you know, all depending on the cost. But saying that you've grown your account and you're just looking to create a special set of photos or a set of content to sell, or header images or something that you want to look really professional. Again, I get it. Just consider what you're doing and don't overspend for what you're getting. But the key is that, usually the easiest thing to do if you're searching for photographers in your area is most photographers will have galleries on their website, and you're going to look for content that is similar, obviously, to what you are trying to produce. Now, with OnlyFans, it gets a little tricky because not everybody, especially if you're doing something explicit, or is not going to have, you know, nudity or something like that. They may not have it on their website, but yet they're okay doing that. So it does get a little tricky if you're just looking for, you know, like boudoir style lingerie content or swimwear content. You know, it's a little bit easier. But you know, the first key is to always look for someone who has photos that represent the style and the type that you want to create. That's a good starting point. Get a couple of names, save the names and their contact information or phone number or so forth. And then you don't have to do this all at once, but from your list that you have, go and check them out. You know, everybody now who's a photographer has social media or on their website. And as I always say, make sure there's a good representation of images in there or on their social media, that it's not just going back 2 weeks, because and that's it, that they've just started their job as a photographer, because it takes a long time to get good at photography. You just want to make sure the person's experienced, their experience in working with the type of content that you want to do, and the people that, you know, and they've worked with other OnlyFans people or they get it. And then also, as far as it's always good to call and have a quick chat, not necessarily even through email or something. And you could really get some feedback by talking to that person. As much as I know you don't want to talk to anybody in the 2000s, but yeah, man or woman, this woman seems like she knows exactly. I'm kind of vibing with her, or that guy seemed like he really gets it, and I'm good with this. But you can get some immediate feedback, ask a few more questions, make sure that you're comfortable, find out where this session is going to be. If you're going to with a photographer you don't know, just bring somebody along with you. Most photographers are not going to give you a problem for bringing someone along, and if they do, then that's a real red flag in my book. And then lastly, when it comes to budget, know how much you want to spend for the shoot, and just plan how you're going to get this back. So if you're spending $300 or $400 on a photo session, are you going to be able to recoup that in some way? Are you able to sell 10, 15, 20 PPVs of that content at $10, $20, $30, $40 each to get your money back on that? So just always have a strategy for getting a return on that investment when you're going out to work with somebody. So those are just a few things to look for when you're going out and going to be working with someone to make some content for your page. Good question. Thanks. Hey, Mike, I've had my page about 2 years and only really do it part-time on and off. I gotcha. I've had my page for about 2 years and only really do it part-time on and off. I have about 350 free subscribers. Is that good? I have PPV sporadic sales. Boy, I just can't read my brain and maybe I have eclipse brain burn today or something like that. I have PPV sporadic sales, but not as much as I like. As 350 subscribers is good. Yeah, I mean, there are people who just do their accounts part-time to limit burnout, or just they're working and they just don't have time. And like, as we always talk about, creating content all the time takes a lot of time, and it's not for everybody. So yeah, growing your account. It's not a big account. But if you're not posting a lot of photos, it's hard to get people to come in. And when you only have 300, 200, 400 people that are your subscribers, you're going to have a lot of variance in your PPV messages. It's not really till you get into the thousands where you have a big enough sample that you're going to have, a regular amount of people purchasing, so you can get a steady idea. Okay, every time I send a message out, I'm going to get 20 buyers, 30 buyers, 40 buyers, or 50 buyers, or whatever the case may be. As your sample size, the number of followers you have gets small, and I consider 200-300 small, your results are going to be, there's going to be a lot of variance there, just because you're dealing with a small number of people that you're sending those out to. Think of it as in terms of good coupons. Imagine if you were a store and you wanted to mail out coupons to your customers, and one of those, I don't know if they're still around, those coupon mailers that used to get in your mail. So if you are sending your coupons out to a town, and say there's 50,000 people in your town, and every one of those people are going out to return a coupon, let me do some quick math for you. And a coupon, if you get 1%, and it's not even going to be 1% on a coupon, it's going to be way less. Let's say you have a 0.5%, 50,000 people, you may get 250 coupons, from 50,000 people coming in. So by using that same math, if you have 350 subscribers, you got about got about 1.75 or so, if you're looking at it in that same way. So when you're dealing with a really small, don't get turned off by that small amount of people buying your PPVs, because you're really dealing with a small sample size. So your variance is going to be way different than if you had thousands of followers, where you're going to see a more regular number or a larger number of people bringing in those coupons. So you just have to keep going through that, keep growing your account, and it does change. And you'll notice it when you get to a specific point. You'll see a more steady percentage of when you send out the note, you know what you're gonna get. You send it out, you're gonna get 50. You're gonna send it out, you're gonna get 30. You're gonna send it out, you're gonna get 40 returns. And then but when you're dealing with small numbers, it's gonna be, sometimes it could be 10 people. Sometimes you may have 0, you may have 1, you may have 3, you may have 7. It's going to be like kind of all over the place just because you have a small sample size, and it depends how interactive you are with those people, how many like crazy fans you have that are really into you, your hyper fans that are going to follow you, who are buying your content. So keep going. It's not bad. You just have to keep building up your subscribers. Like I said, you need to get into a couple thousand, and that also changes too, because it's very hard. Things go very, very slowly, but then it's very odd when you reach that point. Things start to go up quickly. It's just getting to that point where you start to grow, and again, that's just posting regularly and keep on doing what you're doing. And that's the hard part. It's like going to the gym. People go to the gym for a week and they're like, nothing's happening. But it takes a while. It's not an immediate kind of a thing. So you just got to keep going, keep churning away. You could do it. I know you could do it. Okay, next. Any thought on turning on not accepting messages without a tip? The chat setting. I am a small account. Turning it on. Well, that's a matter of personal preference there. I think, again, if you are a small account, and like we were just talking about, if you have 50, 100, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get that. You're going to get a couple people messaging you there. And I think as long as it's not something that's offensive or someone acting inappropriately, if it's just someone, hey, nice page, or, I saw your nice photo, whatever they're saying, it doesn't hurt to give these people feedback, like I said, because they're there for you. You're the star. They can't believe they are talking to you. So people always they just don't understand how to build loyalty or how to have people coming back. And that's the way that you do that, is by answering somebody. And just could be a simple answer, just thanks. A simple thanks sometimes is, or you could see the person's name, thanks Bob, or whatever is in the thing. It doesn't have to be long and elaborate. As I always say, it's a little different on OnlyFans and Instagram. Instagram, the mentality is to ignore everybody, right? Oh, they're just going to follow me because I'm so wonderful. People will just follow me. And they take that and go into Instagram. It's a whole world, because now you have to think of it. These people are your clients. They're your customers. And imagine, coming into and being ignored. Imagine you going into a store and needing help, and the people just were like, they didn't answer you and turned and walked away. Or how would that make you feel? So you are a little bit of a different universe when you're there. And I always think it's best to leave that on, especially with a small account. Respond to the people, keep them engaged, keep interacting with them, and that's how you start to build. And it's work. I think turning it off and just ignoring people, the tip, that has its place. And trust me, when you start to have, again, thousands of people, lots of people that are subscribing to your account, the amount of just static messages that comes through starts to get overwhelming. And I agree that when you get to a certain point, you need to turn off that faucet, because you can just start getting lots of messages that are just like a waste of time. And then there can be some benefit at that point. But when small account, I would say leave it on unless you have a reason not to. Something happened, or leave it on. Chat with your people. All right. Yes, I knew there was another VIP question here. What do people mean by starting a VIP? Is that a setting? I never see it. Yeah. And I've heard this before. I have women ask me, they look into their account. They're looking for like a setting for a VIP or something like that. It's not there. It's very, very confused. Really, all it means, the genesis of this was that creators would go into their collections and really add users to kind of like a mailing list. They would create a VIP list, or you can call it whatever you want to, my favorite client lists. and in exchange for getting a certain tip or buying a certain PPV, they would take those people and add them to a special mailing list, and in turn they could send them out, because when you send out a message, you don't have to send it to everybody. You can send it to only certain people. So they would check the box when they were sending a mass message to only this group, and this group could get some kind of special information or special photos or that the rest of the people would not see. So that was originally the intent of that, but there is no setting in your account for that, or you won't see it. It's really just creating a list of users that you manually can put them into that mailing list based on something they've purchased, and then you taking the time to send a separate message to that group that you've created in your account. So yeah, it's just kind of a made up thing by people. Like I said, we were talking about earlier, small accounts, it is completely not necessary to do that. Wait till you build up a group of people before you start, fracturing your audiences and promising things to one group or not to another group. It just never made sense to me. People do stuff like that and they don't know why. Just because everybody else does it, but it's not really a great thing to do for small accounts, nor do I think you need to do that. So just focus on your main page, build your main followers, come up with your plan of what you want people to do, where are you driving them, what's your funnel on your page. You don't do it just to do it. You create your page for a goal to get people somewhere for a purpose to buy something generally. But small accounts, you don't have to worry about. You don't have to be so divisive on those accounts. Wait till you're bigger. Than, like I was saying earlier, there can be some value in that in some situations, but for small accounts and for all accounts, it is completely not necessary. Just keep firing away at your group and building your loyal followers and PPVing them. Like I said, if you want to make a certain mailing list and you have enough people that for some reason to get money, if you're doing it for no return, it doesn't make a lot of sense either. But that's just one person's opinion, but it's not a setting. And lastly, your webcam looks so good. What is it? It's the webcam? Because I know I don't look that good. This is scary kind of a thing going on here. But no, this is I have a couple. This for streaming is the Elgato Facecam Pro or Facecam Plus. It's a 4K webcam. Now it's even behind a piece of glass. You can't see it, but it's hidden inside a teleprompter. I also have a couple of mirrorless cameras, like when I'm recording regular content, or sometimes I stream on my mirrorless cameras, but it gets tricky when you're using separate microphones and mirrorless cameras, audio. There's a lot of sync problems, and sometimes I can't get that straightened out perfect with streaming, and it drives me nuts. So it's a lot easier to put on a webcam, and I could still use my nice microphone. To me, it's always been a little bit better, have a little bit better sound. But this in the terms of webcams, like this is probably the best webcam that's been out for the past year or so. So I'm okay with using this. It's not cheap, but it's like it was, or I don't know if there's any other. Now you can't see this thing streaming. You can't stream in 4K, I don't think, anywhere. But still, it was the sharpest webcam. You need good lighting. Like I have lots of good lights in here to make it look good. But if you're doing a lot of streaming or lives and you want it to look, it's a good webcam. Elgato Facecam Pro. So that's the one I have in there. So that's our show for this evening. As I noted before, thanks for everybody stopping by tonight. Hopefully everybody survived the eclipse and you did not stare at it. I had those glasses on, but afterwards I still felt like I was doing something. I don't trust those $3 Amazon Eclipse glasses, so hopefully my retinas are okay. So hopefully you had a good day today. Appreciate everybody spending a few minutes with me, and hopefully this is helpful for you. Glad to do it. And as always, if you have any questions, like I noted, you can leave them down below in the comment section. You can email me or just hop onto my OnlyFans page. You can contact me through there as well. And thanks. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for spending a few minutes. And I will chat with you next time. So have a good week. Enjoy your spring. Thank you.